So while Trump is running around saying we're in the golden age of America, that the economy is roaring, and that the affordability crisis is a Democratic hoax, there are real-world consequences tied directly to his trade war and tariff policies. And they're hitting American workers and businesses right now.
What is the price of gas where you're all at? Because here in Somerset, Kentucky, it is $4.17. And that's without a Kroger card or Midlands Farm rewards, anything like that.
Coming to you live because I just got home and I just saw it. But on Cameron Road, gas is $4.49 a gallon.
Just say $4.50.
$4 motherfucking 49 a gallon. Regular. Do with that information what you will. And I'm gonna have to start walking. I'm just gonna have to start walking every goddamn. I'm gonna have to leave at 2 o'clock in the morning to be there by 6 o'clock. 4:49.
Kentuckians are now paying $175 million more per month due to gas price hikes from the U.S. war in Iran. That's almost $47 per driving age person, which is one of the highest per person increases in the country.
I went to the grocery store, you all, and a roast to feed my family was $32. That was the cheapest one they had. I kid you not. $32. I remember when a roast and potatoes and carrots used to be like, you know, a cheap meal to feed your family. Not no more, guys.
50 doll hairs at the freaking store. $46.90 to be exact. And what did we get? What did we get, baby? What did we get, baby?
Nothing to eat for one night.
Yeah, we got, let's see, what did we get? We got creamer.
That makes me sick. Tacos used to be the cheap thing to eat.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, we'll do tacos because we're about to go pick up the kids. We'll do tacos for dinner. Creamer, Mexican cheese, the kits for the tacos, thing of Poland spring water, a thing of ice cream, French fries, ground beef, iceberg lettuce. $46. It's insane. Insane. And that was, what, a pound of meat? Costs less for me to vape at this point. Shit.
Costs less to do drugs.
I mean, all we heard during the 24 election was how, if elected, President Trump was going to bring down prices starting on day one. Well, it's been like 13 months and everything is still more expensive. Everything from housing to hamburger costs more. Struggling families just cannot keep doing this. This is unsustainable. His chaotic tariffs have to go.
Kentucky families overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump in the last election, but now they are drowning under high grocery prices, expensive gas, unaffordable healthcare, cuts to Medicaid, and the rural hospitals are now struggling, pushing more people into more economic pain. So let's have a look.
I mean, the Fed chair, the guy tasked with paying attention to the economy and making decisions based on his expertise, explicitly said tariffs are the reason our prices are increasing. And that's not even all of it. This year, Stellantis temporarily laid off 900 U.S. workers after tariff pressures disrupted auto production. Volvo cut hundreds of American jobs at multiple plants. Small manufacturers have closed facilities entirely, laying off workers because imported materials became too expensive. Retailers have shut down stores. Factory workers have been laid off. Some companies have even filed for bankruptcy, listing tariffs as a contributing factor. So, when Donald Trump says the economy is perfect and that people are just imagining higher prices and instability, understand this. Workers being laid off, factories pausing production, and companies shutting down, those aren't hoaxes. They're consequences. And if you want to see exactly how this is playing out, look at what recently happened to Jim. This is exactly how a fuck around and find out works. Because in that small community in Claremont, Kentucky, many of those people are employed by Jim Beam. And right now, their employment is uncertain. And 65% of them voted for Donald Trump. 65%. And here's the thing. Had those people looked back at his first term, had they looked at news articles from his first term, had they looked up videos from different news sources of his first term, they would have known this was going to happen. Had they listened to the many of us who were telling them these tariff policies are going to cause problems for small businesses, large businesses, and especially people working in rural areas and in small communities where they all depend on almost one company to supply all of the money, all of the income to most of the people in those small communities. Had they listened, had they did a little bit of research, maybe they would not have made this dumbass vote, because now they're living with the consequences of their actions.
35 rural hospitals in Kentucky in danger of closing, but $1 billion for a ballroom, and the Kentucky Republicans cheered on. 20 million people lose health insurance entirely, but $1 billion for a ballroom, and the Kentucky Republicans, they cheered on. VA medical centers cut tens of thousands of people from their staff, making wait times longer for veterans across the country, but $1 billion for a ballroom, and Kentucky Republicans cheer it on. They're telling you what their priorities are. Like, there's no more secret. Don't fall for the bullshit. Their priorities are not with you. They're not with affordability here. They're not with your kids' education. They're not with your public safety. Their priorities are whatever their bosses in Washington, D.C. tell them that their priorities are. Don't fall for it again.
Employee of the school district, I only get paid once a month. By the time I get my bills paid, I have nothing left to pay for food and other basic needs. If it wasn't for SNAP benefits, I wouldn't be able to feed my children or myself. I work, pay my bills, and like every other mom, I want to be sure that I have enough food to put on the table.
What's the matter with Kentucky? Well, let's start by talking about the poorest county in Kentucky, Martin County, Kentucky. That per capita individual income is about $26,000. The national average is about $45,000. $49,000 is the annual median income per household in Kentucky. That's a crazy number. But it gets even worse. 35% of Martin County is on disability, 25% on food stamps, 25 to 35% on Medicaid. Their top employers, the school system and the hospital and a Walmart. The hospital, their entirety of their existence relies on Medicaid, where 35% of the population gets this medical care. Now, what you might be saying, like, okay, they're very poor people, that sucks, it's in Eastern Kentucky, what are you making a point of? Well, let's talk about how they voted in the 2024 presidential election. 91% of Martin County, Kentucky voted for Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election. And you might be saying to yourself, Mike, what cognitive dissonance hell must they be living in to do something like that? That's a good question. I can't answer it. But what I can tell you is, I believe that the phrase that we can all look to in order to resolve this mystery is God's, guns, and gays. But you get to throw in trans now. So it's God, guns, gays, and trans. There's no trans people in Martin County, Kentucky. There's never been a trans athlete. There probably are no athletes in Martin County, Kentucky. But they vote with their white, hateful Christian God. And that's how they choose to vote. Even if it means cutting their hospitals, which is their number one employer and their only source of health care. Medicaid's got to go. They don't mind. Even if it means cutting food stamps so their children on disability can't eat. They don't care. They'd rather suffer financially than have trans people not be harassed. That's what's the matter with Kentucky.
Yo, I saw a video the other day. It looks like if we elect Donald Trump, he's going to impose these tariffs again. And he did this in 2016, and it screwed a lot of businesses. And I imagine a lot of those people said, shut up, libtard. We're going to make America great again. Maga. I'm more Maga today than I was yesterday. Who are all these dumbass people who are standing behind Donald Trump at these rallies going, I'm more Maga today, when they know in their communities that's where all the shit is happening? And listen, we're just getting started. A lot of these policies haven't even kicked in yet. So the problems we're seeing right now are small compared to what's going to happen, because he has been delaying some of these things kicking in. Healthcare. Most of the people in these small communities are going to be the ones who are affected with healthcare, with their healthcare not being valid anymore, or their healthcare costs going up. We've seen a couple of these things happen. And again, this is why I don't give a damn. This is why I'm like, hey, they're getting exactly what they voted for. You guys, again, and I've had, and it's not most of you. Most of you, for the most part, reading through the comments, you agree with me. It's those that 1, 2 to 3% of people who are always like, you're messed up, Coach D, that's just not right. This isn't what we should be doing. We shouldn't be celebrating these people's losses. We're celebrating them getting what they voted for. If I were getting what I voted for right now, I would want every content creator celebrating along with me, because I know exactly what I voted for. I voted so that people wouldn't be deported and just thrown out of this country when they have no criminal record. They've been here for years, and all they've been doing is working hard and trying to get a piece of the American dream. I voted for those people to stay here. I voted against tariffs. I voted so that all of these companies, Jim Beams, Stellantis, all of these different companies would be able to stay open, because they wouldn't be subjected to the high prices and the high costs of things because of these tariffs.
In Franklin, Kentucky, a small town of 11,000 residents, there is a large corporation wanting to build a data center that would use enough electricity to power 3 million homes. That's going to be the largest data center in all of Kentucky. And it's going to make the electricity bills go up on everybody across southern Kentucky. So why do I care? It's going to make electricity bills go up for everybody. It's going to hurt the people. It's also going to have a negative impact on the environment. This region is filled with lakes and creeks and caves and rivers. And that's going to have a drastic impact on the water table. Plus, what are they going to do with wastewater? This is bad news.
Facing a unknown company that wanted to come in and buy an absorbent amount of land.
How would you describe Northern Kentucky?
And we're in a very special spot because in an hour in every direction. We're not too far from major metro areas. Everybody knows everybody. We're a farming community.
So what's going on in Northern Kentucky as it pertains to data centers?
We're facing a unknown company that wanted to come in and buy an absorbent amount of land. We're potentially facing up to 10,000 acres and maybe so employing after construction 50 to 400. We've only found this stuff out because of our neighbors. And when you ask government officials, say, oh, we sign NDA.
So to be clear, a government official can't disclose things to their constituents.
Correct.
That's ridiculous. When I look at Northern Kentucky, rural America built this country. Rural America feeds this country, and I do feel that it's being left behind.
One thing that didn't help this region the most, when NAFTA came, most of our workforce went overseas. This whole county, all you would see is field after field of tobacco. When the government stepped in foolishly, ruined what we had going on here. The federal government and the state government, they don't listen to what we actually need. What would go a long ways is if the government would stop telling people, well, you need this. They actually go to the community and say, what can we do to make this work? Instead of this, we know what's best, so we're going to do it anyway.
And hold and feed a nation. If it's my way, I'll stay and hold and feed a nation. 26 million doesn't mean anything.
Some people might find it hard to understand how Delcia Bear can turn away a $26 million offer to buy some of her land until you spend a little time with her walking the dirt road she grew up on and in the house her daddy built.
My grandfather and great-grandfather and a whole bunch of family has all lived here for years, paid taxes on it, fed a nation off of it, even raised wheat through the Depression and kept the bread lines up in the United States of America when people didn't have anything else.
Delcia is one of dozens of landowners approached by an anonymous buyer, one of the major players in artificial intelligence, likely Google or Meta or Amazon, to purchase their land. The market value for land in Mason County is about $6,000 an acre. The realtor that came to her door last April offered her and her mother about 10 times that.
They call us old stupid farmers, but we're not. We know whenever our food is disappearing, our lands are disappearing, and we don't have any water and poison, we know we've had it.
Delcia's mom, Ida Huddleston, is now 82 years old. She says she does not need the money or the hassle. She was born on this land and she plans to die here, and she certainly does not trust the promises made by the AI companies or the people who want them to build here.
So what do you say to the people who are in town that say, hey, this is going to bring jobs, this is going to bring economic prosperity?
I say they're a liar and the truth ain't in them, is what I say. It's a scam.
For Delcia, scam or not, she says she's connected to her home like Scarlett O'Hara was in Gone with the Wind.
As long as she was attached to that land, her spirit never would die. And that's the exact same thing for me right here. As long as I'm on this land, as long as it's feeding me, as long as it's taking care of me, there's nothing that can destroy me if I've got this land.
Why are groceries so damn expensive? I just stopped on my way home from work to get something for tonight. And my God, it was like over $40. It's insane. Like, I think about my kids when they were growing up. We had 4. So to feed a family of 6, I would go to the grocery store. I might have spent $120 for the whole week, and that would feed all 6 of us. Breakfast, lunch, and supper. And now I can't even get out just for supper for over $40. It's insane to me. I was a stay-at-home mom, and my husband worked at the time, and we were good. I mean, the kids were fed, they had clothes on their backs. There's no way, I don't see how a family can make it now with just one of the parents working. I mean, there's just no way. Everything's expensive, and not only groceries, but housing and rent and gas, and I mean, it's just insane, and something needs to get done about it.
Why is rent so expensive? I remember like 9 years ago, we lived in like a 2-bedroom apartment for $500 or $550 a month. And now a 2-bedroom apartment would cost you way over $1,000. A 3-bedroom over $2,000. And not even that nice of an apartment. And it's like they say you got to make 2 times the rent to even be able to get the place. A lot of people don't make that. I know that a lot of people are having to have roommates or live with family just to survive. How can that even be legal? It's crazy, man. Just let people be able to live. People got children.
Many white people in red states, they keep voting against their own interest over and over again while they keep on getting poorer and poorer. They are being convinced that their enemies are immigrants, minorities, or poor people in other communities, while the people truly benefiting are the wealthy corporations, billionaires, and the politicians who keep carrying taxes for the rich while slashing programs that the rural people rely on. Not many communities are facing the consequences directly. Now rural hospitals are closing. Medicaid support is being cut. Groceries cost more. Gas is expensive. Rent keep on climbing, and the wages are failed to keep up. And this is what happens when the fear, division, and identity politics becomes more important than the economic survival. Sharing policies out of hate or even racism does not protect anybody from the economic reality. Being white does not shield any family from the medical debts or even lower grocery prices. The same economic system hiring black families, Latino families, and immigrants is also the same system hiring poor and working class white Americans. So division keeps people isolated while those in power remain untouched. So when people stay divided, it's only the system that profits while keeping the people distracted, desperate, and even divided. So until these voters stop rewarding politicians who exploit fear while delivering economic pain, they will continue to suffer after campaign rallies end and the slogans fade away. Right now, disabled Americans are going to suffer, people who rely on Medicaid for medication, doctor visits, wheelchairs, treatments, home care, therapy, or even life-saving support are now living in fear and uncertainty. Parents are skipping meals so their children can eat. Working class Americans who are working full-time are choosing between rent, and healthcare. Veterans are suffering too. People who serve this nation are being abandoned by the leaders who praise them in speeches while supporting policies that make healthcare, housing harder to access. Too many veterans right now are battling with homelessness, disability, and PTSD. So people should start voting based on healthcare, wages, housing, education, workers' rights, and economic survival instead of fear and even hatred, because in the end, the billionaires will keep on being billionaires and the corporations will still make profits. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.